In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. It's another episode of Escaping. Yes, you know what it is. Escaping. Say it with me. Escaping the legal matrix. That's right. This is your host, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you from you know where. Say it. Come on. Here in the Fort Bragg, North Carolina area. I know the name's been changed to Fort Liberty, but I will never call it that. So what are we going to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about being self-fulfilled. And what does that mean? What is self-fulfillment to you? And see, this question came up or was asked of me last Thursday evening. Now, last week when this question was asked to me, kind of sent me into kind of a discovery zone. And I was like, wow, I hadn't really been asked that question in quite a long time. And with escaping the legal matrix and doing what we're doing here with Legal Warrior, there's 4 domains that every person, every lawyer has, and that's body, being, balance, and business. And I really began to think about this, like what fulfills me in those 4 domains, and especially in business as a lawyer. And I have to tell you, I sat there and I thought all about this. And I was like, man, I started to write down a list. I, even typed it out. I wrote it out. And, then I started looking up videos and audios on the net, YouTube videos on about being fulfilled. I just started listening to those. I would, and I went out and took a walk for about an hour and a half. Beautiful weather. And I was just thinking about it, like, how do you define being fulfilled? How do you define it? I just sat there and I never thought I'd have a question stump me as much, about self-inquiry and looking into myself deeply as that question. And some people that I know are fulfilled with the shiny things, the new cars, the beach house, the, new motorcycles or some new gadget, or, no matter what it is, they're just like, fulfills me until it doesn't. And what I realize is like people that get like the shiny things after a while, it becomes old news. It's just, okay, 3 weeks, kind of cool. Kind of like when you get the exercise equipment, all right? Yeah, for about 3 weeks, man, you're all gung-ho, and you're like, oh, this sucks. I really don't want to do it. And you start getting bored. And then that treadmill is now a place to hang all of your clothes and towels. It's amazing the number of people I see, especially in body when they're working out and they buy all this equipment. And then after a couple of weeks, they just don't use it. But, think about it. What fulfills you in your profession, no matter what it is, but especially in the legal profession? When I was on active duty in the Army, and that's when I was a young captain, and again, I decided I wanted to go to law school because even though, the military provided great opportunities for me. It really did. I don't have anything bad to say about the military. I know it's got some issues and problems today, but every organization does. But one day I just felt, God, I felt, there's a calling. I felt unfulfilled in what I was doing as this young captain. I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I thought about going to law school, and, the thought of it I started feeling energized. I started feeling good. I started feeling a little bit, hey, here's a future or some fulfillment, something, different, something that I have a desire to do. And as I was going through the application process, starting off with getting the Baron's Guide to Law School, that book, and then having a couple heavy Weizen beers in Germany on a beautiful fall day. Okay. Listen, you can get fulfilled pretty quickly on a few of those German Weizen beers. They're good. They're really good, especially the big, tall glass. I mean, it's just great. But I did that whole process when I was applying. I felt excited. I felt fulfilled. Writing to these law schools, getting the letters back, taking the LSAT, not so much. I can't say that was fulfilling. Getting it done was fulfilling. And then getting, the acceptance letter. I mean, I felt great. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to go. I'm actually, going to go. And I felt fulfilled for a time in law school. The first year, if you're already there or you've been there, it's tough. It's not undergrad. That's apples and oranges. And I felt a fulfillment that first year of law school. As I was progressing forward, I felt like, well, I'm accomplishing something. I'm moving forward. And of course, passing the exams and going on to your second year. And then the third year, which again, I still consider a brain waste, but passing the bar and then, interviewing for jobs. And of course, when you get positive responses back, that's fulfilling too. That kind of goes to your ego and like, yeah, somebody sees something in me. But as the years went on, I know, here comes Debbie Downer. I didn't really have that sense of fulfillment anymore. I mean, when you land your first big client or you make your first big fee and you close the deal, the retainer fee, the reservation fee, however you do your fee structures, you feel good because, you've spoken to this person or persons and you've convinced them that you're the guy or girl to hire, and you get paid and you feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel fulfilled. But I found after years and years and years of being in the legal profession and litigating, it just wasn't there anymore. The passion started to burn out. Kind of like the same thing in relationships and marriage. I mean, I don't know how many of you out there have been like, are married, divorced, separated. I don't know what your status is, but you can be really excited about a relationship, dating, especially the first time. Like you're really excited and put on your best behavior and all that. And then after you get married, I mean, I know some people may not put into the marriage what they should, but some people are like, man, I'm just bored. This is just not fulfilling. And so then it begs the question, are you not fulfilled because of something you lack, something you're not doing, or something you're doing that you shouldn't be doing? I mean, whose fault is it? I mean, I personally think, and professionally, it's your fault, my fault. If you're not fulfilled, there's something that you need to do. And so over the last, couple days, I've been thinking about that. Like, man, what, in like these 4 areas of body, being, balance, and business, what really fulfills me? When I work out and I get up early in the morning, I mean, I'm a morning person in body. I'm like, man, I'm kind of tired, but I need to go do this. And once I'm up, I'm up. And sometimes working out, it's just like, oh God, it's just, oh man, okay, it's routine, it's repetitive, it's boring, but you got to do the boring stuff, because if you don't do it, then you're not going to get the results you want. But then the issue is like in body. Well, what is fulfilling? Is it getting cut, getting ripped, looking good? Is it sex? I mean, in reality, okay, people have sex. It's, to them it's fulfilling, I don't know, for like an hour or whatever. Don't really want to get into that. And then you got the other like 23 hours of the day you're with somebody like, oh my God, I want to cut my wrist with a pencil eraser. So, I mean, it's really hard in body. What fulfills a person, in body? I mean, that was a really tough one for me to really think about and question. And then in balance, balance is a relationship with your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, maybe your family, your children, friends, those relationship type things, and what's fulfilling. And of course, I found if you put your fulfillment in somebody else, they're going to let you down. I mean, they are. People are just, human nature, man. Sometimes it just sucks. And they let you down. So if you got all your fulfillment and balance tied to a person or persons, you're off for a roller coaster ride. I mean, I started learning that when I was in high school, especially, my very first serious relationship. I mean, I really like this girl. I really love this girl. I don't know if I was in love. You know how that thing is when you're 16 or 17, but and you put, your fun, your fulfillment in this person, and you break up or something goes wrong, and you go into this spiral thinking your life's going to end. You're like, oh my God, I'm never going to see him again. And that kind of drama. But then you leave for college, you're like, oh my God, there's like 30,000 students here. There's like tons of girls or guys. Hey, who was she? What was his name? So you learn in life, at least I've learned as a lawyer, if you put your fulfillment in the balance column in another person, you are, man. You're going to be like a stock market, like the Dow Jones Industrial going up or down. I lost 900 points on the balance scale today because you pick one person to put all your balance in, like picking one common stock, and it went like Enron years ago to zero. So, then you get to, to being, to being is, for me, a relationship with God or, Jesus. I mean, I don't know what your religion is, but how do you define that? Well, in the Christian view, it's the relationship with God and the relationship with Jesus. Are you doing what you're supposed to do, what they tell you you're supposed to do, or you're breaking all the commandments and sinning to where there's like you create this hell on earth for yourself. So depending upon what your religious beliefs are, I guess your fulfillment comes from, are you doing what you're supposed to do within the confines of that religion, or is religion too confining and you got the message all wrong? I mean, you really got to think about that, and especially for you law students. I mean, you're in this law school. I mean, really, it's kind of a protective dome and bubble because nobody really at this point has their life on the line with you because you're a law student. Right now, you're just focusing on passing your exams and moving on to the next semester or the next year, or if you're in your last year, getting the hell out of there, taking the bar prep courses and passing the bar exam, and that's all your focus is on. But as you get in a career and being a lawyer, some people just get lost in the legal matrix. They do. They just get lost. They get lost in this thing of like, hey, I need to make a retainer fee, or hey, I got to win another case, or I prevail in this, and the next day they lose, and they go in this downward spiral. And if you in business, especially in law, tie your fulfillment to winning every case, well, get ready, boys and girls, because there are going to be cases you're just not going to prevail because the facts just aren't on your side. And I don't care what a great spin master you are. I don't care how many Latin terms you can spout off and phrases to the court or the jury. I mean, there are just sometimes the facts are not going to be on your side, and you are not going to prevail in your cause or your case. Or your client may actually, in a criminal trial, be guilty. And you feel like you've let them down, and you're just like, God, now how can I be fulfilled? My client's going to prison. Well, yeah, when your client commits armed robbery and it's right there on video, and there's no question that the video is real because it's been authenticated and hasn't been doctored, and there's your client with a big weapon holding somebody hostage and robbing them, it's probably going to be kind of a tough case. But I don't know, maybe you pled your client down and got them less time than they would have gotten, saved them, shaved a lot off of what their prison term is. You need to be fulfilled in that because you did something, you accomplished something. But, I sit here now, after all these years of practicing law, and I am questioning about my own fulfillment. And it's natural to do that, and you should. If you're not questioning whether you're fulfilled in body, being, balance, and business, then you're either in a coma or you're like the Walking Dead or you're a robot. I don't know. Maybe it's artificial intelligence took over because, artificial intelligence, they just don't have feelings. Sometimes lawyers don't either. So you should ask yourself this question. You should do this self-audit. It's what I'm doing. Because how else can you escape the legal matrix that just sucks you into this abyss of bullshit in the legal profession and not get up, take that look in the mirror, really deep look, and just say, man, am I really fulfilled in what I'm doing? Am I really fulfilled as a lawyer, in this so-called profession? But again, it really is a legal matrix because the legal matrix will just suck the very life right out of you if you let it. it will drain you of any fulfillment because the legal matrix is jealous. It does not have emotions. It doesn't feel love. It doesn't feel hate. It doesn't feel anything at all except consuming who? You. Yes, consuming you. And that fulfillment, it's on F for fulfillment. And then it goes to E, and you're like, man, I need to fill back up again. And you find something else to be fulfilled. I don't know. Any sedation. Could be booze, cigarettes, porn. I don't know. But eventually, when you have a weak foundation that's built on sand for your fulfillment, it's like quicksand. And you just sink like the Titanic, going down to the abyss of the oceans of bullshit. So I really do. I want you just to take a second here, maybe a minute, and just, focus on that. Focus on you. And just ask yourself, what fulfills me? What fulfills me? I mean, can you ever find 100% fulfillment while you're alive on this planet? Or is fulfillment something that ebb and flows, goes up and down? I mean, here today, gone tomorrow, back, another day. I mean, look at it. I mean, are you fulfilled? Answer that question truthfully. I mean, even if people are around you, then go somewhere and just sit there and think by yourself. Are you fulfilled in the way you look, in your body, in your physique, and the way what you're eating, your fitness? Are you really fulfilled in the relationship that you're in, or is it so toxic that it's really killing you inside? Really, literally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And in being, do you have a relationship with God? I mean, I don't know. Do you? Do you even believe in God? Some people don't. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. And one day, one thing's for sure, we're going to know the answer to that one. Well, that's a definite. Okay. And then, business. Business. I mean, think about it. You get up every day and then you go into work. The majority of your life is spent where? In business, your job. And you're around people every day. Some come and go, some stay forever, some you wish would go and go to hell too. But I mean, you're mainly at work, at least Monday through Friday. I mean, I don't know, depending upon what your law firm does or what your business does or what profession you're in. You could be working 6 or 7 days a week. I don't know. And, that's the main environment you're in. And if it isn't fulfilling, that's a prison. That's a pit. And trust me, I know. I've been there. I mean, I've come into my office and I'm just like, God, I just really don't want to be here. This is just not fulfilling. I walk in, I flip the light switch on, and I'm like, look at the keyboard and the computers, the phones already start ringing, and I'm like, man, I'm just not feeling it. I mean, even today, when I went to court and prevailed on some issues in a major hearing, and we did well. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the outcome was great. It could have been a lot worse, but I thought we dominated and we did well. But I didn't feel fulfilled. My client was, pretty happy, but I didn't feel fulfilled. I just didn't. I just didn't. And you're going to get to that point if you're not careful too, that no matter what you do, you're not fulfilled because you're not being truthful about what really fulfills you. I mean, I've read a series of articles on lawyers that, got out of law school and within a year, maybe 2, hated their lives. And they got out of the legal profession entirely and never went back. And have written articles. I mean, you could Google it and read it. And you wonder, how does a person get to that point after spending 4 years undergrad, 3 years typically in law school, taking a bar exam, and then lining up this job, and maybe a year or 2 later, just going, God, I hate my life. I mean, there's just no fulfillment. How does that happen? Who lets that happen? And I'll tell you who does. You do. I do. And the legal matrix just sits there like the puppet master, just pulling the strings, brothers and sisters. That's what it does. And that's why it is so critical and so important that right now, especially for you law students, especially for you young lawyers working for somebody else, that you're thinking about running, owning, operating, leading your own firm. How would you do it? What would you change if you could just be in command for a day or a week or a month or a year of your own firm, knowing what you know now in your experience? What would fulfill you? Would it be, I'll take any case I want to take or not take. I'll charge the fees I want to charge. I'll hire and fire who I want. I'm going to be in control of where this ship sails. I mean, that's got to be, to me, more fulfilling than being a robot for somebody else. Now, some people like working in the legal profession for state and federal jobs. Like, yeah, man, I want to stay in that lane. I got a salary, guaranteed benefits. I'm cool. I'm comfortable. And you know what then happens? You just become another bureaucrat. That's it. That's it. You stay in the lane. And you get raises, ever so often whenever the state or federal government decides you should, whether it's longevity in your position or whatever the hell it is. But if you command your own firm and you eat what you kill, there might be some more fulfillment and freedom. See, I think fulfillment, this is my view, comes with freedom. Freedom to work out in the body. Freedom to be healthy. Freedom to make choices. Freedom to worship God. Freedom to worship Jesus. Okay? Freedom to do that. And balance. Freedom to associate with whom I wish to and not to associate with those who I do not wish to associate with. And in business, again, running the show my way. My way. Not somebody else's, but my way. Because you're going to have enough people in your life, in the legal profession, the judges, the clients, the staff, the opposing counsel. They're going to try and dictate and run your life. And see, that's the problem with most lawyers. They allow it to happen. They let it in and they give it permission. They give the legal matrix permission to come in and take their life and control it and take their fulfillment and fill it and take it out and fill it and take it out. Empty, full, empty, full, empty, full, empty, full, until they're so tired they are the walking dead. And this is what you have to be careful of. This is the warning light you have to be on the watch for. The lack of fulfillment. I'm telling you all right now. This is the one thing that I really need all of you to grasp, if nothing else, is about fulfillment. Because if you're not fulfilled in life, you're going to have a really, really bad life. I know, because I've been there. I mean, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, God, I'm just not fulfilled. And I'm just looking out the window. And I'm like, I'm not, I feel horrible. There's nothing worse than feeling like you have no sole purpose and no fulfillment. It's a horrible feeling. It really is. It's just like this void inside you. And I'm not telling you or talking to you about anything that I have not experienced myself. I have. I've experienced lack of fulfillment in all four of these domains: a body, a being, a balance, and business. It's a horrible, horrible place to be when you don't feel fulfilled. I feel fulfilled like when I'm talking to you all right now. I feel like y'all are right here in the room and we're having this great conversation. I love it. I like it. It fulfills me. And then, when I have to leave the microphone and leave this session that we're talking about, I feel like this kryptonite, it just drains my energy. I feel not as fulfilled. But one of the things I can tell you in all my four domains is when I'm here with you all, I really do feel fulfilled. I think the interaction and the relationships we have with other human beings is really fulfilling. I do. And sometimes those relationships can hurt and they can be painful. But when you're hurt and you're painful, see, it makes you realize what fulfillment is, because then you know the difference. This is what they talk about when they talk about in Christianity about free will, that God gives you free will. And people are like, well, free will. If he's in charge of everything. But think about it. The person that you're married to or maybe you're dating or involved with, do you want them just to be involved with you like a robot, like they're programmed where there's no emotion? They don't know, it's just programmed like a computer chip? Or do you want them to have their own desire to want to be with you, that you you are part of their life and you fulfill part of their life? Which do you want? The robot? Or somebody that genuinely likes you, loves you, has feelings for you when we're talking about relationships or in balance? Just like with a client. Do you want, oh, well, somebody sent me here and said, I have to hire you, but I don't really want to, but I'm going to. Is that really fulfilling? Or is it more fulfilling that you have that consult, you talk to them, and they actually realize your value as a lawyer? They realize it, and they recognize it, and they let you know that they recognize it. How? Because they're like, dude, ma'am, I want to hire you today. I'm going to sign a contract and I'm going to pay the upfront fees because I want to, because I believe you have the competence and the confidence to be my lawyer. And you're their lawyer until you're no longer their lawyer. So think about that. It's freedom, the free will to make choices. Yeah, it's a tough thing to think about, I know. And I really do hope that in this conversation that we're having tonight, I truly believe, I really do, that this conversation about what fulfills you and what fulfills me is one of the most important conversations you can have with yourself. And I know in my life that when I didn't really tell myself the truth, or I lied to myself and I really wasn't fulfilled, it's just a dark place. It's a place you just don't want to go to. It's dark and bleak and void. So as we begin to wrap up this episode and this conversation tonight, I want when we part this evening, I really want you to just sit there. Just put some chill music on. Just turn your phone off. Get away from the texting. Turn the TV off. Don't binge watch anything. And just take 30 minutes, even if it's just 30 minutes. And just think about, are you fulfilled? And if so, what is it that fulfills you? And if you're not, why not? Because the truth is, and I've learned for many decades of living and working, if you do not ask yourself this question now, the legal matrix will drag you along in an abyss of the Walking Dead. And that's what you'll become. Okay, so you've got some homework to do, and it's time to go do that homework. So we're going to wrap this up, send you guys and gals on your way. We're about done here. I've got some things to do, and I've got to figure out, basically, what's going to fulfill me. I mean, come on, let's hear it for everybody, okay? Come on. Get peppy. Okay, you all know what you got to do, and you got to get up. You got to stand up. You got to go look in that mirror, and you got to say to yourself, what fulfills me? What is it? What is it in body and being, in balance and business? What is my impossible game? All right, gang. This is Bryce T. Nyer from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Bragg area, also known as Fort Liberty, but I won't call it that. We're out of here.